Hello, world. Welcome back to the Unchristian Network. Thank you so much for joining us. And today you are on Intimate Moments with. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for always giving us your time and just making us a part of your lives, man.
Yeah.
I don't know where you are listening from, where you are. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate being part of your life journey and having us contribute meaningful content in your life. My name is Ndubiso Mazibugo, and I'm
Yeah.
the host of Intimate Moments with. Today, I have a wonderful and amazing friend of mine, a minister that
Yeah.
I hold
Yeah.
in such high esteem and
Yeah.
regard, a man I love so much,
Yeah.
hailing all the way from East London.
Yeah.
And he came all the way. Okay, I'm overselling, all right?
Yeah. Yeah, you are. I think there's too much all the way there.
Oh, I'm making it seem like you flew
You know,
just for me.
there's too much all the way there.
But you know what? We've been trying to make this happen,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah,
And
we've
man,
been. It's been a long time coming.
yeah, thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, I have this morning Pastor Gugu Mbuku. He
Yeah.
is from East London, like I told you, in the Eastern Cape in South Africa. Thank you so much, sir. Pa, 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 pa.
Man, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Greetings to everybody watching. Yeah, greetings to you, man.
They call him the people's pastor.
Yeah, your boy.
Boy, Pastor G.
Yep, that's me. It's amazing, man. Like, thank you so much for having me. Thank
Man,
you.
it's been how many years since we've not seen each other?
I know
We've got
since
so much
before
catching up.
COVID.
Yeah.
Since
Yeah.
before COVID.
Yeah.
But you know what? Social media will make you think you have seen a person just
Like,
recently.
just now.
Yeah. And when you actually think, no, man,
It's been a while.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
And social media kind of it replaces one-on-one contact. We think we've done it.
Yeah.
You know, because
We
now
do.
we feel we've been talking all the time. But then we
Yeah.
realize, oh man, I haven't touched this person's hand.
No, you haven't. And years go by very quickly, and you think, no, we are always in touch.
Yeah,
We are
yeah,
always in
yeah,
touch. We're
yeah,
always
yeah.
in touch.
Yeah.
And I must say there is actually a very important aspect.
Yeah.
In human interaction,
That's right.
versus the virtual one.
Yeah. You can't replace it.
You
Oh,
can't.
no,
You can't. You realize that when you see somebody via social media or via virtual channels, and then later you see them in person, then you realize, wait,
No way.
no, that was not it.
Yes,
This is it.
This is
This is
it.
it. Yeah,
Looking
look.
through someone's eyes
You
is
know-
a different thing. How I always like to start this particular show is to ask my guests how you doing, and no short answers allowed. Fine and all right are not an answer. How are you for this?
Can I say fighting through it all?
Yes, sir.
I
Yes,
think
sir.
I
Yes,
think
sir.
I think that's the short version of it for
Yeah,
me is I'm fighting through it all. You know, like you said, when people ask you how are you, they expect you to say I'm fine.
Yeah, quickly.
Because they are not really looking to find out how you are doing. So I'm glad you highlighted that part, because if you had not, I'd probably say, oh, I'm all good.
Yeah,
And,
man.
yeah. So I'm fighting through it all. Mfundisi.
Yeah,
It's as you know, wearing many hats, juggling through life,
Yeah.
trying to create balance. If there's ever a thing like that.
Hey, what is that anyway?
Yeah, I know. So people always ask me that question: how do you find balance? I'm like, I don't even know if it exists. But all I can say is I'm fighting through it all. Wherever I'm supposed to perform, I push to do my best.
Yes, sir.
And I'm still in my right mind.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I guess I'm doing well.
Yeah.
There has been moments where I needed to take some time out. There's been moments where I felt like I was on autopilot, but I'm surviving. I'm still.
Did you allow
standing.
yourself to take time out?
Yes, I did, and I was also forced
Okay.
by my doctor.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So using some meds
Yeah.
to take time out
To make sure.
that I do take time out.
Yeah.
So it's really not has been an easy journey.
Yeah.
But we will stand up and we
Yeah.
push through it all.
Yeah,
So I feel like I still need some more time out.
Yeah.
But sometimes there's too much demand.
Yeah.
And you have to be thankful for the night time.
Yes, sir.
As your time out in
Yeah.
the interim, and
Yeah.
plan accordingly what
man.
what you can do to take time out to reboot.
Yes, sir. Considering where your family is, your wife and your children, and the ages of your children right now, and the amount of time you've been married, what kind of phase or stage would you say your family is in right now? What are you building? For instance, my oldest son has just hit 11 years old, so I'm now parenting a preteen, and I'm terrified of the teenage years. I'm starting to see teenage tendencies. I'm trying to co-parent well with my ex-wife, and that's the kind of stage I am. For you, where are you in your family, and how are things going?
One thing, Ndu, that has always been central in my thought process is to not miss any time, even in my most busiest schedules, miss the critical part of my life, which is my children and my wife. So I do my best. 15 years in marriage.
That's wonderful. Congratulations, man.
Thank you. 14-year-old daughter, going on 30.
I hear you.
That's it. So, I think we are. I'm in a phase, or rather, we as a family, where everybody is discovering something new. Son, 11, so he's also, everyone is finding his independence. And with my daughter, who believes she already has the independence.
She's arrived.
Yeah, and we are also trying to find our feet, parenting these two stages of life between the kids, and also trying to keep the fire in our marriage. Whatever the fire is, they always say that keep that fire.
Keep the fire going.
We are there. I think it's a continuous learning, but also still trying to hold to the fundamentals that keep everything working within the family space. So as you can hear, as I'm trying to explain it, it's all over the place. That's basically where we are.
How do you get to 15 years?
How?
I think if you get to 15, you're qualified to talk about longevity.
Hey, no. Let me say this. I think it was about 5 years ago when I started to work on some marriage learnings that I'm translating into a book.
Right.
But I haven't completed it. And through that learning, one of the things that hit me so hard in my discovery in discovering marriage through my experience and through just observation is that marriage is formulated with selfish. It's driven by selfish desires and ambitions and whatever. Because in the beginning, everyone. I mean, you can say whatever, but you get married to a person because you saw something that you wanted, not what they wanted. You had everything about yourself. All the boxes that you checked were mainly about yourself. But what I discovered is after you get married, you need selflessness to maintain the marriage. So it kind of like hit me that. So I get into this thing with all these things that I want, and now I have to focus on everything that somebody else wants to keep the marriage.
My
So
goodness.
it begins from selfishness, but it's maintained a
Selflessness.
lot of selflessness.
That's what's one thing on
So
top of your mind that you had to surrender and just lay it on the altar of marriage?
top of the list is what a wife should be.
Whew. Whew. Hey. As informed by
Yeah,
culture,
as informed by
society, church.
everything, church, culture, my own
Oh man.
thinking or whatever.
Wow.
That's the one thing I had to let go. What a wife should be,
My goodness.
because now you spend time trying to fit this person into this mold that you've created, and it just doesn't work, and it frustrates you, it frustrates them, frustrates the whole union, children, everybody, and eventually it will collapse.
My goodness. You talking.
I'm sorry.
You are talking.
Yeah,
Oh, wow,
but
that's great. That's great.
that was to me. That was it. So getting to 15 years, I think no limits, right?
Yeah, no limits. We go for it.
I think there was a time where my wife and I were basically sharing a house, and this is not like 2 weeks or 3 years or 4 months, or it's a number of years where we were there. Every day I was home, she was home. But if you'd ask me if we were in unity,
Yeah,
I
I think so.
I don't think it was.
Yeah.
I don't think it was. We were, honey, the diapers are finished. Okay, I'll buy them.
Yeah,
Bring the diapers.
yeah.
Bring the baby food.
Sure.
You know, what else? We don't have electricity. I'll buy electricity.
Yeah.
It was,
Just admin.
yeah.
There's business.
Yeah, and like, okay, I'm going to work.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to work. Come back home. What do you want to eat? Anything goes. It's fine. Don't worry. So it was just so. 15 years hasn't been kept by any specific formula. And when I talk about selflessness, I had to get to a point of saying, let me stop trying to make a wife and work at being the husband. So when I started working at being the husband, then trying to make a wife out of,
To fix her.
yeah,
Yeah.
then things started taking a different turn.
My goodness.
Things started taking a different shape. I mean, my flaws were laid out bare before me by me trying to work at myself,
Yeah.
being a husband.
Yeah.
It just became. I actually realized that I have so many flaws compared to what I was trying to fix in her.
Sure.
So I started working on myself. Started saying, let me not try to have the best kind of wife.
Yeah.
Let me try be the best husband
Wow, man.
she can have.
And that takes a lot of self-confrontation.
So yeah, honest self-confrontation,
Man.
not
Yeah.
you know, I had to realize that I'm a mess. I was a mess. I mean, it had to be about me. It had to say, yeah, no, you're gonna destroy this family, and all you had, you know, we come from different settings. I came from this home where dad, mom were here, pastors. There's this, you know, everything seems so perfect. Everything seems so. They are role models in the community, in the then Republic of Transkei. Even if I say so myself, they were. They still are. You know, you look at your parents, you're like, we have a perfect family. So, and now you try to make that out of somebody who comes from a completely different set, who doesn't have all that you have, and that's what family means to you, and you don't even allow them to, you know, to to learn or whatever to see what you just shove down everything the person's throat and you try to force a person to become
Man.
something they don't even know, so it becomes painful. It becomes so I had to take a step back and say, whoa, you are ruining this thing.
My goodness.
You are ruining
Yeah,
this thing.
yeah.
So 15 years has been that kind of letting go what I perceived as marriage, what I perceived as a wife, what I had to let go.
Sure. How did ministry contribute to your marriage journey? Was it positive, negative, or not at all?
Both
Yeah.
positive and negative.
Right.
Um, Positive in that I think it challenged us both, and it challenged her as well. You know, it's one of those things that force you to grow up.
Yeah.
Ministry will force you to grow up.
Man. Man.
If you really accept,
Yeah.
if you really, really, really say yes
To the calling.
to the call.
Yeah,
I'm not
yeah,
even talking about, listen, guys, not even about being a pastor
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
or just ministry generally.
Sure.
When you really say yes to ministry, it forces you
Yeah.
to grow up spiritually. It forces you to grow up spiritually. So it had that positive impact on us where we, I remember my wife and I had to go and counsel and offer counsel to an elderly couple,
Interesting.
like our parents' age.
And there you were.
We're sitting there
What
thinking,
were you?
Do you guys realize
early
we are your
30s?
children? So, ministry will force you to grow. And these people are coming to us because they feel that there's an answer.
In you.
I'm like, guys, you have been married
Yeah.
40 plus years.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you think I have all the answers.
Oh goodness.
So marriage will, ministry will force you.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But it was negative because I was, I've always been very much determined and driven in ministry that I messed up the family finances. So I messed up the family finances because, you know, instead of saying I was running a snayo
Yeah.
imali to do this, I'll take from
And do it.
and do it because I want it done. I want it to happen.
Another pastor would say that's sacrifice. That is what's expected of you in the beginning. So
Yeah, you come with.
You disagree with that?
Yeah, you come with all of that. No, you know, ministry. That is very wrong. Actually, you cannot sacrifice your family for ministry.
Yeah. Yeah.
You cannot do that. You cannot sacrifice the well-being of your family for ministry. I don't care how spiritual you think that sounds.
Yeah.
It is foolish, and it is downright disrespectful to your family. So
My goodness.
it is, it is. It's not something to glory in. You should be ashamed if you believe that rubbish.
We always hear stories about pastors' kids, and I'm also a PK. You are one. Approaching your parenting, are there things that you consciously told yourself, I'm not going to do so that my kids don't have PK issues, or it was not really part of your parenting formula? Because I remember parenting, I started having that fear. Let me not give my kids those issues, those wounds. With our parents were pastors, and because of that, we went through this. And try to avoid certain things. And then in trying to avoid certain things, I find myself doing some of those things.
Yeah.
But raising PKs for you, did you try and do certain things or avoid certain things?
I think one of the conscious decisions for me was to not allow my kids to be PKs. So just have them be children.
Yeah.
Just have them be kids.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because we don't hear doctors' kids. We don't hear
yes,
magistrates' kids.
Yeah.
We just hear children. We just hear kids.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to put my pastoral calling on them. I'm not going to do that. So they're just kids.
Yeah.
That's one thing. that I'm very much intentional about, and I will raise them up as kids. But
Sure.
obviously, be- I will have to raise them in faith in Christ,
Sure.
and they have to know that we as a family
Yeah.
belong to Christ.
Sure.
Our lives are ascribed
Yeah. Yeah.
to Christ. It's not just a form of religion; it's who we are as a family. It's where we draw our strength.
Right.
So when it comes anything that has to do with church is, or rather, not church, but serving God
Sure.
is not an optional thing.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
so if their friends tell them about what they do at their home, that's what they do. Doesn't matter if you are the only one amongst 10 people at school who's talking about God and Jesus and the church, and everyone else is talking about something
Man, that's
different.
great.
This is who we are as a family.
yeah,
So I'm intentional about making sure that they understand what that means, and just to try and not make them feel like they have to be in a special category as children and have to put on a specific face for people in the church because they are pastors' kids.
I mean,
they are just kids.
Yeah, that's great. Talking about church, Four Winds Church in East London, that is the house you are pastoring.
Yeah.
Gonja, what did it start out as the name?
Okay, Word and Worship Life Center.
Word and Worship Life Center.
Before
how
we
many years
became-
now?
10 years.
10 years in ministry. So this is a
10
big milestone.
Yeah, I know. 10 years in November.
Yeah.
First service was 24th November, 2013.
Awesome. Yeah.
So
Even that is a journey you could write a book on.
yo,
I tell you.
don't even go there. We should not go there.
Yeah. What kind of house is Four Winds? What are you building? And by the way, I had the honor of having my company design your brand.
Yes,
when you
yes.
changed to Four Winds. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
But what? How would you describe your church? And you are pastoring in an urban area, in a city.
Okay, so take it to the beginning. I've had people. Okay, let me start here. I have some friends of mine who've always maintained that, you know what, when I cook, I think you have the gift of faith. I'm like, they say you just trust God. You have this thing and you just. So when I started, I think it was that kind of leap.
Yeah.
When I said to my wife, and side note, I did not blindside my wife when it comes to, I didn't blindside her when it comes to ministry.
Sure.
Even before we got married, she knew that day would come.
Yeah.
She was aware of it because I did tell her that I'm still trying to duck and dive, but it's going to catch up with me at some point.
Sure.
I'm just.
And then when the day came, how did she take it?
She was like, okay, let's do it. But she was not really for it. But because I had communicated it, I think there was no way to say, what do you mean?
Sure.
When did this happen? I was like, it's time.
Yeah, now it is.
Yeah, it's time. So I took that leap, and if somebody had told me that ministry starts out as a lot of as sort of a lot of finding your feet in ministry, because when you start, you think you have heard everything.
Yeah.
But what I discovered is when we started, I was like in that Abraham moment when God said, go and I will show you. So he hasn't shown you anything yet. The only instruction you have is go. So we started, and being a person who was very much involved in worship and praise and worship and music and it's very much into the word of God studying, and this word came when in worship. This is who we're going to call ourselves, and it was not for some time when God, number of years, then God, sat down with me after I've discovered a lot of things in my, and I was like, this word and worship life center thing is your thing actually. Yes, you are in ministry. You were told to start ministry, but this whole other element of it is your own agenda. And
Tough conversations.
and then you either rebel or you listen. Like, okay, what do you mean? Took me to the book of Ezekiel, chapter number 37. We know the story about the dry bones, and then God says, prophesy to the four winds for the Spirit to come and minister breath to these lifeless bodies, and they will become living beings. And that's where God then said, look at the pattern of what has been happening. A lot of people that have come to church over the years were wounded soldiers. People who were lifeless. People who were lifeless. And I've seen God use the ministry in bringing back the breath in those people's lives. In people suddenly believe in let's say Christianity again. And being a Christian, people believe, people believe in that God is really on my side. And that's where He set us on. I'm making you a place of hope, a place where people will get their breath, a place where people will get back their strength to pick up their arms, because the Bible says the bones became an enormous army. After the breath, it's that type of house where all we are doing is giving it. So we have this. I don't know if you call it a slogan or whatever. What do they call it? Forget the name. Sahua. So, introducing Jesus to the world. Establishing heaven on earth. That's what we do.
Sure.
So we're introducing Jesus to people. Or somebody comes and has heard about Jesus, but the Jesus that they heard about is not the Jesus of the Bible. So all we do is we introduce you to the right Jesus. You know that Jesus. And I'm laughing because there's a book I read on church planting that says church planting requires a little bit of arrogance, because you look at where you're planting and you feel like everybody else is doing something that's short of what you are bringing.
I get that.
Like we're gonna do this right and help out this community in getting church right. So I'm laughing because I'm saying the right Jesus. But that's it. We are just returning people to God, returning people to. If one thing, having grown up in the church, is how I've seen that people really don't have. A lot of people don't have the fundamentals, the basic things, tentacles of the faith, things that really ground you in the faith. We have become, in the modern day setting, a people that chase after new and deep revelation, which pushes us to heresy, because you don't want to sound like the previous preacher. So as if that revelation that's already in Scripture is not powerful enough. So we try to reinterpret. So it's about taking people back to that place of saying, come to me, all ye who labor and are heavy laden. I'll give you rest.
Yes, my God.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. So
Yeah.
it's there's no hidden coded
Mm.
messaging behind that.
Mm. Mm.
It's just that.
Yeah. How does this right Jesus look like, as opposed to what he's been made out to be? That's an important question because so many people have been disillusioned with church because of what we've presented Christ to be.
Mm-hmm.
The right Jesus, someone says, I'm tired of this church thing. This thing is not working. Abazalwane banjena, banjena. But Jesus at his truest sense, as you're trying to present,
Yeah.
how does he look like?
One, I think it's the Jesus of the Bible. Let's get that out of the way. I'm going to get
Right.
to it. Yeah,
Right.
it's the Jesus of the Bible.
Yes, sir.
Anything that's outside of what the Bible portrays Jesus as is
It's
not
wrong.
Jesus. That's the I think that's the basis of it. So the right kind of Jesus does not tolerate, or maybe tolerate is too strong a word, but does not overlook and just gives a pat on the back for someone walking in unrighteousness in the name of love. So the right kind of Jesus does not say, you are just imperfect. You will get it right someday. The right kind of Jesus says, if any man wants to follow me, they deny themselves. The right kind of Jesus
Eish.
calls for self-surrender. The right kind of Jesus calls, when I'm saying self-surrender, I'm talking about even the things that you feel
Yeah.
are natural to you.
Yeah.
Even the things that you feel are natural to you,
Yeah.
even the things that you feel like are a family kind of inheritance,
Yeah. Yeah.
like Sinje Ekaya.
Yes,
He
yes.
wants you to let go of that Sinje Ekaya.
Sure.
That's the right kind of Jesus.
He's loving, but he's not a
He-
softie.
no, he's not. He's not a softie. The right kind of
Yeah.
Jesus will call you to a place of brokenness
Goodness.
so that he can build you. The right kind of Jesus will love you in your mess,
Yeah.
but pick you out of that mess if you allow him.
Phew.
So that's the right kind. The right kind of Jesus
Come on.
is not just gonna love you in your mess perpetually without convicting.
on.
The right kind of Jesus convicts.
Come on.
He convicts. He doesn't allow you to stay in your mess, no matter how much eloquent you can be in trying to explain
Yeah.
your mess. He will not allow you.
Sure.
The right kind of Jesus is building a church without blemish. That's what the Bible says. So he's not going to allow parts of the body with blemishes to stay
Yeah,
with
yeah.
blemishes.
Yeah.
He's going to do everything he can
Yeah.
to cleanse you of the blemishes. The right kind of Jesus wants us to be pure and righteous. The right kind of Jesus loves us whether we know it or we don't know it, whether we feel it or we don't feel it.
Yeah.
That's the right kind of Jesus. He wants all people to come to know the gospel and him and to be reconciled to God. That's the right kind of
It
Jesus.
seems like you carry an uncompromising message in the church.
Yeah.
How has that been received in an urban, in a city area where people have got options?
Yeah.
They can go to a church that can leave them in whatever lifestyle they are living and still be in a church board.
Yeah. So, in as much as, interesting enough, in as
Yeah.
much as it's not easy in today's culture
Yeah.
to be the kind of person carrying an uncompromising message,
Yeah.
but it also helps to be human yourself. When people will see that, no man, Pastor G, with his mohawk or his fade or whatever, is a going person. So if he has to sit with people who are doing their own thing, he's gonna sit. He's not gonna impose judgment. He's not gonna be discriminative, but he will still tell you about the gospel as the gospel is.
Yes.
And I'm not going to say it's okay with what you do. No, it's not okay if it's not okay. So I think that the humanity element helps for people to see that you are not being superficial,
Right.
but you in your own flaws have allowed, the Bible says until Christ is formed in us.
Formed in
So
us.
I'm just like you. I'm just working through my own mess to become as He is. So it helps when people see that you are not. Maybe to summarize, yeah. Let me put it this way: it always helps when you preach not from a place of superiority. And put it that way.
That's it.
Yeah,
That's
that's
it.
it.
That's
So
it. That's it.
that's how you manage to
Yeah.
to get people listening to the gospel when you are not preaching from a place of superiority.
Do you think that is a place of vulnerability, or is that the wrong word to use? You said it's being human. It said, is it then ministering from a place of vulnerability to show that I've got my own issues.
Yeah.
I'm going through this and this, but okusalayo izwi lenkosi lithi.
Yeah, it is that as well.
Yeah,
It is a
it's
place
included. All
of
right.
vulnerability, but it's not a place of allowing enabling or allowing everything and anything to go.
Yes.
It's a place of because we need to get to a place where we can be like Paul, and that was not a statement of pride. Imitate me.
Yeah.
As I imitate
Yeah.
Christ.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not a place of it's not a statement of pride.
Yeah.
It's a statement of I've been through the mess
Sure.
until Christ was formed in me. It is no longer I that lives, but Christ who lives in me.
Yeah.
Get to that place, you yourselves.
Yes.
It's possible. I was the chief of all sinners. He will tell you.
Yeah.
So he says, but he's not superior, but he's also vulnerable. But he's not saying just wing it as you go.
Yeah. Yeah. Sure. Your history in ministry includes a lot of praise and worship. Yeah, I mean that. I can say that's where you started.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, that is.
You even released music.
Yeah, yeah.
And you still owe us a couple of more.
Yeah, yeah.
An
yeah.
EP nyana,
You know,
whatever.
yeah, yeah.
but
it's
but that's where you started. You were ministering in song and in worship, and that is, I know, still a very strong part
Yeah,
of,
yeah.
Of your calling.
yeah.
That transition from worshiper to senior pastor or church planter.
Yeah.
Take me there
Yeah.
a bit. What needed to change in Gugu?
I think first, in my guys, let me say, please don't take offense.
Yeah.
In my being a musician,
Yes.
I had to stop being a musician. You guys know what I mean. Being a church musician, I had to first clean up. Yeah, so I know a lot of people don't think Pastor G has been a church musician. I've probably been more of a church musician than the church musicians in this day. Believe me.
Let's pause there. Why is it? Why is it that church musicians are so problematic? Why in the king of food? All the
Look.
church trouble niyafunyanwa khona.
Jesus. Hey, I don't even think it's something that is only with church musicians. It's just
Yeah.
that you are in the front.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Spotlight.
Yeah, in the spotlight,
yeah.
and some person in the youth group could be entangled in a far greater mess than you are.
Sure.
But because you are up there, everybody notices your mess, and but to be honest with you, there is a degree, and even a great one, of pride and arrogance amongst musicians,
I get you.
because you get to a place where you feel like I'm carrying the service. I'm like, I'm that guy.
I heard a musician post right now recently. I saw a Facebook post. If we just tell the truth, guys, pastors won't admit that it is the worship team that is causing church growth, not the preaching. It's us, the musicians.
You know,
Yeah, 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 yeah,
yeah,
yeah,
it's a very
Hey,
proud statement to
my
make. You know,
goodness.
that it just sticks.
Yeah.
You, to musicians, it
Yeah.
just easily
Yeah.
sticks to musicians, and because it the degree to which it sticks on musicians is more than the singers.
Mm.
But we're all part of the worship team. But the people who are singing are not as much proud.
Okay.
And
But the minstrels
the
are.
minstrels,
Okay.
the minstrels will always have this thing of.
Oh.
I mean, I don't know if we think, maybe we do.
Mm-hmm.
They can sing with us, but it's just not going to be the same. It's just not a vibe. It's just not going to be there, you know. So there is that. There is that. But I think such statements should actually push you to a personal checkpoint.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, what did I just say?
Exactly. Where did that come from?
You know,
Yeah.
then you need to work through it. I had to realize that there was church before me.
Yeah.
There will be church after me as a musician. So it's personal. It's something. It's a journey for everybody, and you get easily roped in by others. The influence. I know musicians who start off, trying to just serve the Lord in the church, and because they work with the team, and they get roped into some other behaviors, and then eventually they become part of the problem.
I see.
They
So
never
the culture in the team.
Yeah, the culture in the team. So, and then they start. Then we start getting gigs outside of the church, and all hell breaks loose. And
Now you feel more important.
It just
More
goes south, and you get a booking yana there from some prominent name in the secular music, and you're like, the church does not appreciate me. I'm bringing something to the church, but they don't value me, and now you want to take the spotlight, so it's something that actually you need to actually quickly realize before it destroys you, because it will.
My goodness. How do we solve this war between the
Between
worshippers?
myself and myself.
Yes, exactly, exactly. Because you are the musician, the singer, and you're also the pastor.
Tell you what,
There's this tension, man.
Yes, a lot of people get surprised sometimes when I go to a conference, and maybe another pastor is hosting a conference, and I get there, he's having musician problems, and the service is starting, and I just go sit behind the piano, and I said, let's start the service.
As a guest speaker.
No.
Oh, okay.
Whether I'm just there,
you're just attending,
right, or even if I'm going to speak. But if we have to do church and the piano is just sitting there and there's no one to play it, I'll go play the piano.
Amen.
And if there's the pianist is there and the drums are just sitting there, I'll ask for the drumsticks and I'll go play.
Yes.
Bass guitar, I'll pick up the bass guitar, and the service must go on. So.
Wow.
I had to. It's something as a pastor that I learned that I need to strip myself of the accolades and all this trying to be the most important person in the room. But more to your question about the conflict between pastors and musicians, I think there's a lot of external influence.
Okay.
Because I have seen a lot of musicians get growth in the church musically and church instruments. They were taught by somebody, an elderly person in the church took you and said, I'll teach you how to play bass, and gave you the bass to go and rehearse and practice. And then when the time comes that now you are also considered by other people for these things, then you come back to the very same church and you're like, guys, unfortunately I'm worth this much, that's the external influence I'm talking about. And no, we're not going to talk about whether you should be paid or not. I know you guys want that.
Yeah, waiting for that
Yeah.
question, that moment.
We are not going to go with it. There's a lot of external influence
Sure.
that happens, and
Sure.
then it sparks the conflict. It's a degree of importance that people feel,
Yeah.
and the pastor on the other side wants to reclaim his throne,
Yeah.
or rather affirm his throne,
position.
that's his possession. You know, and then there is no really pastoring the musician as well. There is no accountability. I mean, and also I think what the other greatest driving factor is unspoken expectations.
Right. Bad communication.
Yeah, unspoken expectations, and then which then become disappointments. And
Yes.
but I wonder, as a musician, how are you disappointed in me not doing something you never said you expected from me? You know, or how am I as a pastor disappointing you as a musician when you never really told me about your expectations? So everybody feels so important that they don't have to communicate what
What they want.
and okay, guys, I'll talk about the payment thing.
Sure.
Fine. But if a church employs a musician, employment is employment. It's got terms and conditions.
Sure.
Give the person the terms and conditions.
Sure.
This is how much you're going to be remunerated.
Sure.
And this is what's expected of you.
Sure.
Don't come on Sunday and preach that. Musicians don't come to Wednesday meeting. No, our agreement was I play at the Sunday service and for a certain amount of money. I'm not here to, you chose to employ a musician. So, and we agreed that I'll be playing for service. For 2 hours on Sunday. When you start preaching after 2 hours,
overtime.
and we didn't speak about overtime, I will pack my stuff and go to the next church, which I have an agreement with, because I'm just a worker. So if we're gonna make it corporate, let's go full corporate. There is no middle ground. So if you're gonna employ people, give them what's expected of them and what they can expect from their place of employment. So that's my 2 cents on that.
Surely there's a balance we can strike between having a musician who is a disciple of the house, a son or a daughter in the house, but still we are remunerating them. Surely there can be a balance somewhere, because I shudder at a situation where someone is just coming to church to play because they're doing the job. This person doesn't carry the DNA of this house and the pastor, but musicians are key in setting the culture of the house. So you having someone who's setting the culture of the house through the music, who doesn't carry your DNA in your heart. That's dangerous, right?
Yeah, well,
there has to be a balance somewhere.
We allow it as pastors. So I'm not going to pin that on the musician.
Right.
You chose to have. I always say, when you have someone who, a maid or a helper at home, that person, it doesn't matter if they work there for 20 years, they are not really part of the family.
They're not a family member.
They're not a family member. So there's some things they won't care about because I'm just here doing my job, So if you have hirelings as people who are part of your ministry and working with you at the altar, then expect the issues that come with having hirelings who don't share the vision, who don't share the heart of the church, who share nothing with you except the in contact.
POP.
Yeah, that's it. So we allow it. We, the pastors, we allow
We
it.
allow it. Yeah, yeah.
I'm very much conscious and deliberate when it comes to that. I remember when we started, and I had guys come and say, from this, I want to be here and I want to be part of the church. I said, that's fine, you can be here, but I want you to know, and not trying to make you feel bad
From the start.
from the start, that the church, don't ever think the church depends on you.
Yeah.
Don't ever have a mindset that think the church will collapse when
Yeah.
there was church before you came. There'll be church after you leave.
Yeah.
I'm saying this not to be rude
Yeah.
or whatever, but I wanted to know that you have chosen to come and work with us.
That's right.
So I will not be in a position, yognenge.
Yeah.
You voluntarily came.
It's a dangerous position to be in as a pastor.
Yeah.
Right?
So you came. I did not poach you. I did nothing.
Sure.
I prayed about workers to be sent by God.
Yeah.
And lo and behold, you are here. So you are not going to be the most important person in the room.
Yeah.
Neither am I.
Yeah.
So, but once you get to a place where you feel you want to leave the church, please come like this. Talk to me.
In the same way.
In the same way.
Yeah.
In the same way.
Yeah.
And I said that to them.
Yeah.
And then you can leave.
Yeah.
Don't just disappear.
Yeah.
We don't do that.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna do my part in helping you grow spiritually and otherwise wherever I can. But let's keep this as pure as possible.
My goodness. No, Fundis, you're giving help.
Yeah.
You're giving help in this area, and it's better to deal with it at the beginning.
At the beginning.
Remember when Bishop Musa Sono changed his policy on that, on paying musicians? It was a huge uproar. It was a huge disruption. A ministry after so many years doing things in a particular way.
Yeah.
And when you change that, it was hard.
Yeah.
But, Grace Bible Church is a strong ministry, powerful. They made it through. But it just shows what it's harder to deal with it later than to deal with it in the beginning, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I hear you.
I would comment on that, but I don't have the full backstory of it.
Of course, yeah.
But it's always important. If you're gonna take people and tell them this is the deal. Sometimes you get people. Look, guys, you get musicians who are working in church and also part of the church.
Yeah.
You do get musicians.
Yeah.
Who are actually employed by the church on the church's payroll.
Yeah.
But they're also
in here. They're members.
They're here.
Yeah.
They're here.
Yeah.
You do get that. Don't say I said there's no such. There is. I know a number of them. So you have these people that you have employed, and they too, let's assume, prayed about it. And God said, go and work in that house. Now they are there on assignment in as much as they are there for employment.
Yeah. I get you.
But they are also there on assignment.
Sure.
So now you come later and you say, you guys should be doing this on assignment. And let's take away the other part of it, which we agreed upon.
Yeah.
That makes you a liar.
No. Yeah.
That makes you a cheater.
Yeah.
That makes you a dishonest person.
Yeah.
So it's things that we have to watch out as pastors. When somebody comes, I mean, I've had people say, from this, I see you have a conference with these artists and whatever. Can I just come and assist playing? I'm like, oh, okay, you can come. We can do with a guitarist, but we don't have any money to pay. And the person disappears. And so the person wasn't there to help. They were actually, they were just asking for umsebenzi. Yeah, just asking for a gig. So, so it's better to be clear from the beginning that so that that day the conference ends and the person is waiting there.
Yeah.
So umfundisi bengifuna ukubuza
Ngoku,
ukuthi ngoku sawuthini. I mean, like, so
These are real issues, real issues, man.
yeah,
This is real issues.
yeah, no.
Yeah.
I thought, no, that's not
Get
thought, guys. Stop thoughting. Just lay everything in the
Right.
beginning.
Right.
I will not have money to pay.
Sure. Sure.
But if you like to assist in this, I'll appreciate it.
Yeah.
Let's go for it.
Sure. Let me take you in this direction, Guti. What are the unique challenges and differences in pastoring in a city area as opposed to a more rural or kind of township area? And I'm talking to a number of ministers about this because the experiences are so different.
Very different.
One friend of mine, Pastor, you might know him, Pastor Martin Mgiba. Posted, I think this morning on Facebook, he says, if you're going to pastor in the city, you can't be a cheapskate.
Yeah.
You need to drive for excellence. You can't be afraid to spend. And
Yeah.
that's one reality of
Yeah.
pastoring in a city, is that rentals are high,
Yep.
this and this is expensive.
Yep.
But without putting words in your mouth, when in your experience, what have you identified from colleagues and also from yourself?
Pastoring in the city.
Yeah, man.
I don't know if this is where you want me to take it. but
Take it, bro, take it.
it's the arrogance amongst pastors.
Mm.
It's exhausting. It's exhausting. It's sure.
The competition.
Please don't make me trend, guys. Please don't make you trend for this. But
Talk about it.
yo, aye. Do aye. No. No, we are arrogant. We are arrogant.
Wow.
We are very arrogant when we're amongst each other.
Sure.
You say, I talked to another pastor and like, Pastor Ndumiso said something very powerful last week when I was talking to him, and you just see let's be spiritual, see their countenance fall.
That's Bible talk right there.
See the person is not pleased with you giving props to
another, a competitor.
It's exhausting with the little gangs.
Ish.
When you see Pastor Gugu, he's with that clan and that other pastor is with that. I think in the city, I don't know, I haven't pastored in the rurals. My dad did.
Sure.
But from what I observed, there was very little or none of that because the rurals are still very much, we're still very much cohesive.
Sure.
Amongst the peoples and relationships and stuff. I think for me, that is my greatest challenge is trying to work with other pastors. I think that's what I get
not unbelievers.
No, pastors, no. Pastors, no. Trying to work with other pastors. And they'll tell you, we have a fraternal that meets periodically, every month or every 2 weeks or whatever. Just us as pastors coming together, and I used to attend. I don't anymore because it's a waste of my time, and I value my time because if anything, it's not trying to bring pastors together.
Yeah.
It is just where everybody wants to just floss and gloat and I don't have time for nonsense. I don't have time, so I stopped attending those. I want those to happen, but I want them to have meaning.
Yes, sir.
So I do meet with. I do have pastors that are friends of mine. I do have pastors that are just co-laborers
Yeah.
in the field. I know that there's no relationship there.
Yeah.
You know, you just, I'm from the Swami, I'm from the Swami. How's it? How's the church? How many are you now? You know, such questions. And
Yeah.
like, I'd punch you in the face right now. You just asked the most foolish question,
Yeah.
because I know exactly what you are trying to
Yes.
ascertain here.
Yeah.
You're trying to measure where you are versus where I am. So that's what that for me is what.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And people shouldn't misunderstand what you said, because you, what people might not see from a distance, you're a very relatable person.
Yeah.
And that's the one thing I wanted to bring you to your relationships. You're one person. This is one thing I admire. One of the things I admire about you so much is how you are able to foster and maintain solid relationships over years.
Yeah.
If people would be surprised who you have on your phone list,
Yeah.
who you have on your WhatsApp, people would be surprised.
Yeah.
The who's you know, are with you. If someone comes to a city, want to do something, they're gonna find Pastor Gugu Mbuku in this land. Hey man, I want to do this. Can we? I know that's important to you, but how do you do that?
I think
and if someone says, I also want to be like that, advise them.
I think one thing is I learned from my dad. My dad taught me a lot when it comes to relationships.
Yeah.
My dad taught me how to really pastor people, not be a pastor.
Come on.
How to pastor people, how to make it a doing word than a title. So he taught me. I learned that from him, and he said one of the things he said to me is, you must learn to love the people that God has called you to, because He loves them. You might have some conflicts and not like some of them what they do, but because He loves them, you ought to love them. So I didn't grow up being a very relatable person. Believe you me, I was very much reserved growing up. I was introvert, as they say, but I had to push myself out of that. When I start out a relationship with a person, I will pester you, I will call you, I will text you. You will not return my calls, but I will still call you. I'm intentional about relationships. You just need to, you know, I'm not. I don't subscribe to be there for those who are there for you. Excuse me. Antichrist behavior.
That is not biblical at all.
So you must be there even for the least of these. You know. So I think it's being intentional about relationships and know that people are flawed. People are not perfect. But if there's something you are trying to build in the relationship, it will take blood and sweat. It will take you. Why should I call if this person never calls me? No, call them. Call them. You are building something. You did that when you were pursuing that girl.
Yes. You wanted something.
You wanted something. So call them. So I'm very much intentional about relationships and all the who's that are on my phone list. Know that periodically I will call and say, I see your things are going well. You are busy. You're doing that. But how are you? You know, how's your family? If they have a family, you know, what's happening? What can I help with? What can I do? So, it's just being intentional.
Yeah, man. That's great info. Is that what opened the doors internationally for you? I think every year. I think it's only COVID that interrupted you. But every year you're in the States. New York seems to be loving you musically and through preaching. They are always calling you for something. How did that start?
It actually so I when was the first time? Oh, the first time I went there, I went for a conference, and then got to, and I had an intention of, going there and
Yeah.
making my impact in some places.
Yeah.
But how the whole preaching and ministering in song thing happened was I the late Bishop Iona Elock.
Sure.
I used to follow her on. Well, well, she was alive then. I
Yeah.
used to follow her.
Mm.
So she had a conference, and surprisingly, a very good friend of mine now and a brother, Damien Sneed, was also part of that. And I was like, I need to meet this guy as well. And so I went there and went to them, and they asked how you got here. I was like, no, I really saw the poster, and I had been coming to the States for other conferences.
Yeah.
I had linked up to a lot of big names. Thank
Yes.
you, big
Yes.
names.
Yes. Take note.
Yeah. But that was not the reason why I was there. It was like, I must be there. So from building those relationships, and then it was like, at a conference, can you just lead a prayer session for us, for pastors in the morning? And you do that, and everyone was like, whoa, what is this? And then no, you have to preach at this conference, you have to come to that church. And from there, I think it was then it was Uganda, then it was Ghana,
Yes.
then it was
Yes.
it was just again that moment where you heard a go and you didn't know for what.
For what? You just went.
You just went,
Yeah.
and it just. You can call me a go-getter.
Yeah.
If I believe that there's something, I'll go. I'm very passionate about my ministry. I'm very passionate about it. So if I have to plan a trip to go to Sudan for ministry, I will link up with people by the help of the Spirit of God.
Sure.
Link up with people and go minister there.
Yeah.
And no, it's not always about money.
Yeah.
I haven't made money in ministry.
Ooh. All right.
I don't make
That's
money
a that's a curveball.
That's just me, guys. That's just me.
Come on.
That's just me. I'm not. I mean, I get calls.
Yeah.
People will call and say, "So, Mfundisi, we wanted to come and preach. We have a conference. We have this. How much will it be?" I'm like, I don't know, but
What's the going rate?
but what's happening there? Okay, no, we're doing 3 services, this and that and that. Okay, I'll look at my diary. Then I always pray about going to places.
Of course.
Because this one time we went to a place with Abanye Bazalwane, and the spiritual warfare that was also physical, exploded. And imagine if we had gone there without being instructed to go there. Bazalwane, I'm talking about fighting demons physically and spiritually. So it's always to me about, God, do I go there? Yes, you go there. Okay. How do I get there? Okay, pay your ticket, go there, or whatever the case is. Sure. I've had people saying, let me reimburse you for your flights. I'm like, if you can, it's fine, but that's not why I was here. I'm on assignment.
Yes.
That's me. God takes care of my well-being.
That's amazing,
God
man.
takes care of my family. I have a good job as well, and a very good job. So I'm not discounting other people who are saying they're invoicing or whatever. I'm not talking about that today. I was told this podcast is about me.
Yes.
So I'm talking about
your approach.
So.
But what's also beautiful with these opportunities, you always take others along. That's the other thing I love. I've seen.
Sorry, I'm laughing because I heard a lot of people Oh, we'll just, next time Fundis and I would love to go with you. And some of them, I'm like, okay. I'm like, hey, you're not ready for this. You have no
Right.
idea what you're
Yeah.
subscribing to.
Yeah.
But I really don't. I've had people trying to get to know me
Yeah.
because they want the
The
opportunity,
opportunity, right?
and it's to me not just an opportunity. You will uzolimala.
Yeah, yeah. What? How are the cultural differences in terms of delivering your ministry there, in song or in the word, whether in the States or African countries? Is that even a factor? These cultural differences, or they just they want who we are? They don't. You don't have to try and fit in, or what is the experience?
there's there's two things.
Yeah,
Or rather, there's different. Let's call it different.
yeah,
You get people, you get to the States, and they're saying, just sing some of those African songs. I'm like, you won't understand what I'm saying.
yeah.
I'm here to minister, guys. I don't know if you know that. So I'm not here to just give you a little feel of the
Yeah,
motherland.
yeah, yeah.
So excuse me. You get those people. Then you get people who will just say, "Friends, come and do your thing, however you do it. If it means you're gonna sing Ageko Fananai, you sing that. If you want to sing Nobody Greater,
Yeah.
sing Nobody Greater, or if you want to shout,
Sure.
you shout.
You shout. Yeah,
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 so
yeah, yeah.
so whatever it is. So you get different people there. There are
Right.
people who just want us to be these African pets that they have in the European and
Yeah,
the
just perform for them.
yeah and
Give them African
yeah
experience.
and dress up like in like
Oh goodness
you know.
me. Yeah.
So you do get those. But yeah, I've been yeah. Sometimes you with with was it Unat will tell you
Yeah.
the stories when I traveled
Yeah.
to the States
Yeah.
where you find yourself in places where you're like whoa, Fundis, we ended up this one time hey, in a what do they call these people? Freemasons, something like in that gathering of uh, Illuminati things, guys.
Hey man, dot.
Ended up there, going to perform there
Unknowingly, good.
unknowingly, unknowingly. So we there, and another friend sitting next to me is showing me the pamphlet. I mean, this is high profile dinner gathering thing. Like, guys, when I say high profile,
Yeah.
I'm not talking about change. I'm talking about money here. And we're gonna perform here.
Eh.
And this friend sitting next to me is like, Mfundis, show me the program. What is this emblem? What
Gee. Gee.
what do these things mean? What mechanics of what? Just Google mechanics, and you'll find that organization. And I looked at it, and I looked at next. The other side of me was Paul, and Paul, and I'm like, Paul, what is this, chap? Let's meet outside. So, something's not adding up. So we went through the whole pamphlet. Hey, we discovered, but no, we are in this, and now we're sitting there, and we're thinking, what if we are the sacrifice here?
Hey. Yay.
It was the most funny thing,
Yeah.
but something in us, and all I can say is the organizer of that trip was not pleased with us because we left. We left. We're like, yeah, no, we'll wait in the car.
We can't do this.
Yeah, no, we'll wait in the car. We can't be a part of this. So we left. So it's sometimes then you realize that I was not even sent there.
Yeah.
It was me just chasing
Yeah,
chasing
yeah.
some platforms.
Which
and
goes back to what you were saying. You must pray for this
yeah,
platform.
you end up in platforms that you
Man, crazy.
you should not be.
Just-
So be very careful.
Yeah.
not every big platform is a good platform.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
In fact, not every good platform is good for you.
Yeah, yeah. What are your thoughts on the South African gospel music industry in general? When you look at it, are you happy with what you see? What do you like? What you do not like? I mean, as a musician, you think of these things. I know.
Yeah.
Mm.
We have some of the best uh, music
Mm.
the world over,
Yeah,
hands down. I know other people are more popular than our people,
yeah,
but I've traveled, I've listened to
yeah,
some of these people live, I've
yeah.
sat with some of these people. Gospel music, when it comes to the music element, no,
All right,
we have good
all right, all
musicians. We
right.
have in if, even though it's not made to look that way by the global media,
Sure.
but South Africa has
Wow, that's good.
top tier
Yeah,
musicians and productions,
yeah,
sound
yeah,
engineers.
yeah, yeah.
I've heard some popular names coming with uh, albums that you listen to the mix and you're like, I'll
Mm.
just throw this thing in the dustbin.
Mm.
It's hard to listen to. It's
Yeah,
yeah. We on. I'll just start off with that. When
yeah.
it comes to that much, we are
That's
world
good, man.
class.
That's good.
We
That's
are
good.
world class.
Yeah, yeah.
Then when you look at the spiritual element, yes, those people that we think have this thing, they don't have it. Yeah, I know they don't have it. The challenges are for us all.
Yeah,
the,
yeah,
the spiritual struggles and the personal
yeah,
struggles are
yeah.
for us all.
Man.
So everybody. So I always encourage gospel artists to say, not to say stay the way you are, but don't believe the hype.
Mm,
Don't believe the hype.
mm,
When you
mm,
sit with those people and you see their lives,
mm.
you realize that they're just as human as you are.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
So there's a balance in that aspect.
Sure,
Spiritually, they do have,
sure,
they just have, especially the US industry.
sure.
Have you seen how big the US is? Do you know the population of the US?
Yeah,
So
it's big.
you don't stand a chance at trying to compete with them in
Mm,
popularity, and they own the media space
mm.
globally.
Yeah,
You know, they're able to push their own things
yeah,
as though they are the better.
yeah. But they've got economic power as well.
Yeah,
There's a
that,
big pockets there.
that's what it is. But when it comes to analyzing songwriting, arranging, musicianship,
Mm,
ministry,
mm.
we are
We're
we
good.
are right there.
Sure,
We're right there.
sure. No, no, good.
We just battle to cross over,
Yeah.
which they make sure of. Maybe my friends in the States will hate me for this one. But guys, it's not easy to penetrate that market
Sure.
because they are, it seems they are, let's be uh, legal term, allegedly
Yes, yes, yes.
they they are gatekeepers of the market.
Right.
They will not allow
Uh,
us to
uh,
to to just take up.
yeah.
I mean, you look at guys who are really global
Sure.
everywhere else, but
Yeah.
you see their globality is not really globaling
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
in
yeah.
the
Yeah, I
US,
get you. I hear
and
you.
it's intentional.
Sure, I get you from this. Yeah, no, you've given us a lot to think about in this
Yeah.
interview. I'm going to close by asking you 5 very fast, sharp questions. You need to, I want to mention a name or something. I want you to tell me the first word or phrase that just come into your mind when you hear. There's just 5. Number 1, just one word or one phrase, and then we move on to the next. Ntokozo Mbamba.
Sister.
It's beautiful. Rhema Bible Church. I think
Yo, I nearly said a word that I don't think. Hype church. We don't have to explain, right?
Yeah, no,
Okay.
no elaboration, no explanation.
Look at that. You will decode.
Yes. Christian television.
Dishonest.
Powerful. I'm tempted to like put this away. But I promise
No,
not
you
to.
see, that's
I
what you
said I
said.
will not probe.
Yeah.
Bishop Benjamin Dube.
Bishop Benjamin Dube.
Yeah.
For this, you said one word or
One
phrase.
word, one word phrase, yes.
Is not make sure.
All right. This is interesting. My last one. Podcasting.
New TV.
Awesome. Pastor Gugu Mbuku, it's been an awesome time. Thank you so much.
I am afraid. Yo.
It's not trendy, sir. Man, you're such a blessing, my brother. We are praying for you, the work that you're doing, and all that God has placed in your heart to do.
Yeah.
Is there anything coming up this year that we can take note of, that we can support in anything you're doing or in the next few months?
I think not. I'm working on a project
Sure.
that I foresee in Gulumo around.
Yeah.
Hoping ngeke zibe khona,
Sure.
but I foresee. But I'm working on that. Azalwane ngiyamthanda uJesu.
Amen.
I mean, make this declaration.
Disclaimer already.
Disclaimer for that project that's coming.
That's coming. All right.
I only subscribe
Yeah.
to the Lordship of Jesus.
Jesus. Now I am very curious.
Yeah. So.
You heard it first. Here.
I want you to not doubt that part.
Yeah.
I am for Jesus and Jesus only. Okay? Okay, we are together. But that project is coming.
Good. For people in the Eastern Cape and surrounding areas of London, where are you? The church, Ngupi, where do you fellowship times and all of that?
Yeah, we are in Arcadia. That's just below Southernwood. We are number 28 Brill Street.
Sure.
Service times Wednesdays 6 p.m. to 7:30 for our midweek service, and we have our Sunday service at 9:30 every Sunday morning.
Awesome stuff.
Yeah.
Thank you for this. Please keep us in your prayers as well for all that we're doing.
No, I will definitely.
You're
always in my prayers. You've always been in my
I know,
prayers.
man. I know, man. Your support and brotherhood has meant a lot throughout all seasons.
Yeah.
I appreciate you so much. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Pastor Gugu Mbuku. He's a pastor, he's a musician, he's an entrepreneur. And we'll see in December what else we're going to call you.
Yo! Okay.
But thank you so much for being with us. Thank you for watching. Subscribe, please, to the channel. Share this content with other people. Comment, leave us a comment. Tell us what you think. If you're listening on Apple Podcast and Spotify and all the other audio platforms, leave a review. It helps to push the content to more people through that algorithm. God bless you so much. We love you.
Thank you.